Hey guys, Benny here from Crypto Catch Up. Tonight I'm going to be doing a video for you on what are wallets. We've been seeing a lot of discussion around this lately, purely because there's a lot of Bitcoin forks coming up, and therefore everyone's scrambling to find a way that they can try and redeem those through different wallets or exchanges, which all come back to this topic of wallets, what they are, what it means, how forks are even involved. But we won't be getting too much into that. I want to just go down to the bare essentials of what you need to know around security, storage, use cases, because some are better than others and they have a reason for that. Because you see a lot of people say, this is the best one, no, this is the best one. Well, you're both probably right, but it depends on how you're using your crypto. So we're going to go through that. So, like I said, we'll do what makes up a wallet, why they are important, what is a wallet in general, the different kinds of wallets, hot and cold, and then just some FAQs. Now, those FAQs are just random things that I've seen lately. Some of them you probably don't even have a clue about, which is good, something more to tack on to your learnings. But if you do have any that come out of this, please leave them in questions down below the video. Or alternatively, if I'm from a Facebook group that you are a part of, leave me a message in there and I'll get to it as soon as I see you or it. Alright guys, so what is a wallet? Now this is where it differs quite a lot. So people start thinking, oh, a wallet, it must be where I store my money. No, it's not. So in cryptocurrency, there is no actual token, coin, anything that is sent anywhere, ever. What a wallet simply does at its most basic form is a few things. So it stores the public and private keys, which I'll get to in a moment. It allows you to send and receive some form of cryptocurrency. But like I said, it's not actually transferring you something physical into that account. All it's saying is that somebody somewhere has signed off a balance to you, and it's purely just showing you a balance by referencing on the blockchain a value that's been attributed to you. So inside that wallet, there is actually nothing there. It is purely reading a balance from the blockchain to let you know how well off you are actually going. Like I said, it allows you to interface with it. It allows you to store different things, secure different things, and some of them in terms of the wallets are done in completely different ways, whether they be software based, physical, and we're going to get through that moving forward. All right, so what makes up a wallet? So like I said just earlier, they have a private key and a public key, and there's two main analogies to think of what is a wallet. So a wallet is really the address. So when you're talking to your friends and family, the first analogy I would like to use is that the public key is like your bank account number, and the private key is like your PIN number. So with your public key, of course, if you want Nana to send you some money on Christmas, or you want your friend to pay you back for the beer you bought them on the weekend, you're gonna give them your bank account number. I know that if I give them that, they don't have access to my funds. But on the flip side of that, the private key, that is something that we do not give out. I'm not gonna go and give my friend my PIN number, because then he's going to go and buy himself some more beers or himself a present for his birthday in 6 months' time. Another analogy there is like your email account. Your public key is like your email. Your private key is like the password to that email. So if you were sending an email, you'd have to give that email address to somebody, but for you to log in and sign in, you need that private key, which only you would have and store. It's something that you want to keep very safe. However, email addresses, if they are lost or you give away that private key, There's far less risk involved in that compared to cryptocurrency, obviously, because you're storing something that is of value to you in terms of monetary value. So with that, we'll move on and we'll have a look at the different kinds of wallets. So you have hot wallets, you have cold wallets. And really, the main difference between the two is where the private keys are generated and used. So what I mean by that is a hot wallet is something that is connected to the internet. It may be natively from the internet, such as an exchange, or it may be a cold wallet where it's never ever been connected to the internet. It's something that you will never connect to the internet. Obviously, these have different benefits and downsides. So from the hot side, like I said, it's connected to the internet. Because it's connected, it allows for instantaneous transactions. Your private keys are stored online, which is not a good thing, but it's much easier to use. Once again, greater risk of hacking because your private keys are stored online. And other factors in terms of possibly it's stored on an exchange. And if that exchange was to close its doors because it wasn't liquid or it had been hacked, like we said earlier, we have a problem. And like I said below there, trust is required because you do not have full control of your assets on a hot wallet. Flipping over to the cold side, however, it's not connected to the internet. It's typically created on an air-gapped computer or hardware. And what I mean by air-gapped is that you have your computer, you have a demilitarized zone, and then you have the internet. And that demilitarized zone, practically protects you from any nasties, viruses, malware, keyloggers, and all that sort of thing. That is something that you and I most likely do not have though, because it takes skill, knowledge, or otherwise to know how to set up and use. Moving on, you've got much harder to use. It's cumbersome because it's offline. You then have to get it online and do a number of steps to be able to perform transactions. And like I said, we'll go through why the use cases are therefore important related to this. And like it says, greater security. It's the gold standard. Because it's offline, it's not vulnerable to Joe Blow hacker from South Korea taking your funds and running with it. All right, so hot wallets. So we'll start at the top and move around. It is in no order of security level or anything like that, even though, yeah, it kind of is, but we won't go down to that kind of thing because that's negligible. All right, so the first one we have of hot wallets is hosted. Hosted, our friends at the exchanges, CoinSpot, BTC Markets, Coinbase, all of those guys out there. You buy on their exchange, you store it on there for a period of time. Wonderful. How good's that? You can buy and sell instantaneously like we spoke about before, but you have the downsides. If CoinSpot or anyone else went under overnight because they weren't trading solvently, you lose everything you own. But on the flip side of that is, if you're only trading with a small amount of money, or you're wanting to trade all the time, then that is going to be a better option for you. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of use cases, is that keeping it on the exchange is not bad if you're going to be using it all the time, or it's a smaller amount. However, if you're going to be storing it for 3 to 4 years and, forgetting about it, don't. It is not a good idea. You will pay the price. Moving on, web-based. So you can actually have wallets where you sign in on a website and use it very simply, but once again, you're putting that trust in somebody. So a web-based application, there's got to be a trusted third party. Your data has to be stored somewhere on a server, somewhere in the world. So there's an example there in terms of Coinapult that actually allows you, it's a Bitcoin web-based wallet. It allows you to send email SMS to actually transfer your funds. Very simple stuff. Green Address, another web-based wallet. Moving on, you then have your desktop wallets. So that's a software wallet. What a software wallet is something that you can download from the internet. You have ones that are either specific to the coin that you're purchasing, whether it be Bitcoin Core wallet, a Ripple wallet, whatever wallet you may require. But not all coins and tokens have actually developed their own wallets yet. It's something that they all should do, but it doesn't mean that they will. So with these desktop wallets, some of them are known as multi-currency. So Exodus, Jax, Armory, they allow you to store a range of currencies in there. However, it won't always allow you to store all of yours. But the benefit of a desktop wallet is, once again, it's near instantaneous. You send it from your desktop wallet on your computer to your exchange, copy and paste one address, and off you go. But they're actually a lot more secure than a hosted or a web-based wallet. And the reason for this is because you actually own your private keys. In these programs, you actually can export your private key, because your private key is the one thing in the world that you need to know if you ever want to access your funds again. Your private key and your public key. Other than that, in terms of desktop wallets, what you want to be looking for though is an open source wallet. So something like Armory is, it practically means that they are showing you, the developers of that product are showing the world that this is our code, that this is great, that you need not worry, that this is a good quality product. Because if you were ever to forget your private key or your public key on these desktop wallets, you actually get given what is called a seed phrase or a mnemonic. Now that can be of different length, but all it is a bunch of words, one by one, in sequence that you write down as a recovery. So if you were ever, for example, your computer was to break, because this is a desktop software wallet, so if your computer breaks, you lose it, you then can get a new computer, download Exodus again, use that phrase, and you're up and running. Beautiful. Moving on. Mobile wallets. Similarly, in terms of security wise, that middle ground between hosted, desktop and mobile, and then what we'll talk about soon in terms of cold wallets. Mobile has some apps like Mycelium and Electrum that are quite secure. However, like anything, mobiles have the issue of the app stores, where some people are developing applications online. They're trying to get you to download it like it's a legitimate wallet. You download it, you actually log in using your details, and you lose everything. So please watch out for that. The other benefit of mobile wallets, however, though, is that you have it on your phone at any one time. If you were to be using this to buy your coffee down at the shop, you could use an application like that by scanning QR codes, etc. All right, now this is an example here of what Exodus looks like. In my opinion, Exodus is the most beautiful software wallet that does exist. Exodus is multi-currency. As you can see down the bottom, there's a range of those different currencies. It supports a huge amount. It also has inbuilt shape shift, which, if you're not aware of, it allows you to convert, for example, your Ethereum to another currency for a fee in the app or in that wallet, without actually having to sell it back to it or transfer it back to an exchange, sell it, buy another one and send it back. It is a really cool feature. Moving on. All right, cold wallets. Now there's a few of these here. I'll run through these quickly because the more important one we need to discuss are really the top and the bottom. The rest of them are for people who are just way too into their things. All right, so the first one, paper. It's literally like you think. You store it on paper. So after this, I'll jump out of this presentation. I'll show you a paper generation one. Paper wallets are exactly that. You generate it online, hopefully on an air-gapped PC, but like I said, that's not always something that you or I have access to. So you can do it on your PC. Just be careful that you don't have any viruses or anything like that on there. So please do run some form of antivirus and malware detection software. It prints it. You can then print it onto a piece of paper, laminate it, put it on stone paper that's waterproof. Obviously there's upsides and downsides to this. If you don't use a laser jet printer and you spill water on it, the ink's going to run. Paper obviously breaks down over time and fades and all of that sort of stuff. But paper is the most secure way to store your funds. So back to use cases. If you are out there and you're planning to buy these coins and hold them for a couple of years and forget about them, I urge you, look into paper wallets, but find a better way to store them. So if you are going to store it on a piece of paper, make sure that it's good quality, that you laminate it, that you store multiple copies of it. That is going to be a good long-term strategy for you. You might even store one in a safety deposit box if that way inclined. Moving down, USB. So that is a cheap way of a cold wallet. So effectively you could create a paper wallet. You would then, I don't know, put it into a Word document, save that Word document with a password, put it onto a USB stick, encrypt the USB stick with some basic Windows encryption, store a couple of copies of them around the house, give one to mum or dad, who knows. I don't suggest you do that because if anyone wants to get their hands on it, the chances are that they're looking for you for a reason and they're going to get into it. Moving on, physical. These are more of a novelty, I think. Physical ones are, you can get it printed on dog tags, printed on a credit card that you store in your wallet that are etched. The downside of these things is that you're putting your trust in the manufacturing process of that particular item that you're buying. So if you're really that way inclined, go for it, but you're not going to sell me on that any day of the week, even with open source code. Brain wallets. So what I was talking about before in terms of seed words is that they're generated for you. Well, with a brain wallet, it's not the most secure method, but what it does is allows you to actually utilize some information of your own or something that you know in your head and then hashes that or practically encrypts that using a particular encryption method, normally SHA-256, which is developed by NSA in America, the National Security Agency. And I'll show you a brain wallet after this, just a quirky thing. Once again, guys, I don't recommend using something like that. Use what is easy to use and proven. And on to the big bad wolves of the world, the hardware wallets. So hardware wallets actually come under hot and cold, so that's why I put it last, because a hardware wallet is something that when you plug it in, you're using it technically online on a device because it is a USB device, but when it's unplugged, it's offline and it's a cold wallet. Hardware wallets are much more secure than other means because they require you to press physical buttons to sign transactions and push and propagate those to the network. They also have a range of other software involved. Once again, seed keys. So even if you lost your ledger, you gave it to someone or you drove over it, you'd still be able to buy another one or use a wallet that supports BIP 138, 38. I'll check it out. It's one or the other. which practically, like Mycelium that I spoke about earlier on mobile wallets, would actually allow you to recover all of your funds in that ledger through Mycelium, or like I said, by buying another one. Out of the list there, the most secure that you can buy is of the Ledger brand, and there is reasons for that. So on your Trezor and your Keep Key, inside the USB device, they use what is known as a microcontroller. So all the logic and all the activities and storage of private information is stored in the one logical location. The only thing stopping that being accessed is software. Whereas the Ledger Nano S actually has 2 chips, similar to what Apple iPhones use to store your biometric details and the rest of the logic of the phone. So by segregating the important privacy aspect to the functioning of the product, you get a much more secure device that is, I guess, more secure from even physical attacks, where somebody gets their hands on the device, what is known as shack attacks. So I definitely recommend the Nano S. It is also the cheapest of the lot, which is great. So here, if we were to have a look at this, guys, this is just a paper wallet done via an online generator, which I'll show you in a second. So on your left hand side there, you've got your Bitcoin address. So like I said, your email address or your account number, you give that out to people, no problem, but don't ever give them this private key. And then I've got a photo there of the Trezor, like I said, physical buttons and a pin. So even if somebody got that device off you, they have to know a pin to get in. Same with the Ledger there. Alright, so let's go through some of these frequently asked questions. So the first one I've got there is, why does my wallet address change? Well, some wallets like Jack's use what is called a HD wallet, or hierarchical deterministic wallet. What this is practically a security measure. So what it does is, whenever somebody sends money into you, it will generate you a new address, but it's all stored under the same seed key. So you store that seed key. If you were to ever log out and forget about it, you'd be able to log back in with that seed key, and inside the program it actually has all of the addresses that you were ever sent anything to. The reason why they do this is to practically anonymize where it's being sent to, so people can't keep tracking your transactions to the one address. So if you do see that come up, ask the question or go and search the developer of that product. It's most likely because it's a HD wallet. They are good, they are more secure because of the non-anonymous nature, I guess, of all of that. Alright, so why can't I generate my own seed phrase or mnemonic? Because human beings aren't real good at making something random. You may think you are, but you aren't. So just let the program do it for you. Alright, how should I store my seed or mnemonic? Well, some people say that if I store 6 words here, 6 words here, 6 words here, that would be great. No, don't do that. Because if I find 6 of your 12 words or 6 of your 24 words, depending on the seed, it makes it a lot easier for me as a hacker to use what is known as a brute force attacks using rainbow tables to find out what is going on. Now, a rainbow table practically is the hash input and the hash output stored. So practically they can try 1,000 bazillion different kinds, and if they come up with it, you're going to be in trouble. Or they use a dictionary attack, which practically utilizes, once again, brute force to try every different word under the sun to break into it. So don't do that. Store it together, keep yourself safe. Will my exchange or wallet support the forks? Who knows? So the reason why wallets are important is because depending on where you store it, depends on whether you might be supported. Now, that is up to the exchange or for the wallet provider. So what you might have found recently is Bitcoin God came out as a fork. but only a few exchanges supported it. Now the reason for this is because some of these are not big deals. They are spin-offs, like I spoke about in my previous video on forks. They are stealing an idea and not actually making any technological advancements. They could be pre-mining blocks, practically printing money, and waiting for people to buy into that and cashing out. So you won't always see them supporting that. If you are interested in getting your free forked money as such, I'm sorry, but you're going to be going through a lot of pain to do that using a range of different techniques, which I do not recommend for any beginner out there unless it's already supported on the exchange. What are the fees? Are they dynamic? So some wallets, some exchanges as well have different fees you can set, because like I said before, the wallet is purely allowing you to send and receive based on a balance that is known for that particular public address. The private key allows you to sign a transaction to say, yes, I own that money. I want to send some of that to Joe. With the fees though, as we know, the higher fee you pay on some of these, the faster it's going to go. The faster your transaction is going to get mined. So where it says dynamic, some of them allow you to set a low fee and change the price. Some of them don't allow you to set anything at all, and they use an algorithm back in the back end of the program like Exodus does. So if that is something you want control over, mainly if you're sending Bitcoin, then go and have a look for that. What is multi-currency? So we spoke about that before, like Exodus and Jax on the desktop wallets. They allow you to store a range of currencies, 20, 30 plus, but they won't always have everything there, guys. So you will have to have multiple wallets to store everything if you are diversifying your portfolio. Alternatively, you could store it on the exchange, but like I said, there's a use case for that. You're using it all the time, or you are silly if you are going to be holding it there for a long period of time. And finally, what is a multi-signature wallet? Well, it's the most secure format of wallet. You won't normally see it on everyday consumer products. They are something just like a bank where you have to sign or have multiple business owners sign for something. It actually requires you to set it up so multiple people have to sign. The number can be, I've seen wallets with up to 7 signatures required. Obviously a security measure for example, a company that might be using blockchain technology. Even new ICOs are utilizing multi-signature wallets to lock up their funds. That is about it, guys. The only other thing is that I'd like to say in terms of what are public and private keys. They are known as asymmetric cryptography, or also known as public key cryptography. So if you do want to have a look into that, it is very complex computer science, so I don't expect you to get hell bent over it. Just remember the 2 analogies that I said earlier. For example, Bitcoin uses something called ECDSA, so elliptic curve digital signature algorithm, which is the most complex thing in the world. It grabs something, it hashes it or encrypts it again in a different kind, adds some data, encrypts it again another 2 or 3 times, adding data along the way to create something that is so hard to reverse engineer that we are so safe as long as you can keep your private keys safe. Alright guys, if you do like this video, like I said, that is going to be good. If you can subscribe down below. What I'll show you here quickly, guys, is this website, cryptocompare.com wallets. I'll leave the link for it down below. It does go through a buckload of wallets, showing you the platforms that it's on, its security level. As you can see here, green's good, maybe not so good, how anonymous it is, the ease of use, extra services, and the supported coins. So you can see Exodus supports a bunch here, but if you want to do this one, you are laughing, which is great. Alright, this one here is a wallet generator. This is not the best one or anything like that. It's the first one I grabbed, guys, so please don't go using it thinking it's the bee's knees. So as you can see here, it's asking me to move my mouse around to generate randomness. Nearly there. Boom. There it is. Public key, private key, print. You can print it like that, whatever you want. It's not really a pretty one, whatever. You've got your bulk wallets, if you want to create heaps of them, or your brain wallets like I spoke about before, but I'll do something different here. So this brain wallet here allows you to do a whole bunch of stuff. So you can get a random seed phrase, and then you can salt it. So salt is like extra information that is added to the encryption, I guess, just to make it a little bit different. So you can put something like that in, put some personal info in, generic, you know, crypto catch-up. We go generate. Boom. So what I know now is that if I was able to remember that and the salt of crypto catch-up, I'd be able to generate this, which is cool. Cool. All right, guys, like I said, if you do have any questions, leave them down below. This is probably a very long video, so I do apologize, and I will catch you later. Thank you.